Hello, I'm David Sakamoto. I'm the Vice President of Customer Success at GitLab, and I'm creating this video in anticipation of the e-group discussion next week. And I'll be sending this in conjunction with a presentation. So I would suggest having the presentation open while you watch the video, because I'm going to go through certain key slides, but there's others I'm just going to touch on quickly, so you may want to pause to read through that content. And there's also some backup slides. Some are integrated into the deck and kind of associated with the content, and others are in the back. So with that said, let's go ahead and start, and let me share. Okay, great. So as all companies are becoming software companies, DevOps is the proven approach in the increasingly competitive markets. And our GitLab application provides a DevOps platform to help customers efficiently deliver better products faster while maintaining compliance. However, results are often impacted by barriers outside the toolchain. So whether customers are building or optimizing their DevOps practice, outcomes are often hindered by issues like adoption of new processes, methods, or tools, or lack of skills and experience, or organizational silos in culture. And the data supports this. 87% of organizations are disappointed with their DevOps initiatives. I believe GitLab services can play a critical role in accelerating our customers' DevOps journey, given our unique and holistic differentiators. So as I go through this presentation, I want you to think about three things. Number one, does it align to GitLab's vision and strategy? Number two, do you understand it? Does it make sense? Do you have questions or concerns? And three, where are there areas we need to collaborate to ensure this is successful for GitLab? So as we mature our services business and expand our offers, GitLab services and our future partners will help customers achieve their positive business outcomes by accelerating time to value while driving product revenue for GitLab. So let me move this into presentation mode. So I've talked through the three objectives of the presentation. And as part of the agenda, I'm going to go through our vision and objectives. I'm going to talk through the levels of service and define those, as well as our current and future portfolio and priorities. So let's start. The vision, very simple. Accelerate our customers' DevOps transformation and driving the same values that we have with our solution. Operational efficiency, accelerate time to market, and reduce risk. And we're going to do that through GitLab product adoption. Very important. We are not looking to build some product agnostic services organization, separate services business. Our whole business is aligned to driving product success with our customers. I'll give you a quick example. There's an issue that we're working on to productize some of our migration capabilities. And one of the professional service engineers said, well, if we do this, we're going to lose some of our services. And my response is absolutely. If we can provide a capability with at par or better experience and provide it broadly across our entire customer base without services, absolutely that's what we're going to do. So just one example. So let's go to the net, the what, why, and how. So I talked through the what already. Time to value, driving adoption, and supporting product revenue growth. But why GitLab professional services? So two ways to answer that. From the customer's perspective, we look to drive faster value realization, improved customer experience, and access. We're going to do that through access to GitLab's experts and best practices. From a GitLab perspective, our benefits are three things. Driving improved retention expansion. It is absolutely proven that time to value drives retention, or a key driver of retention. The second, providing us deeper customer insights and feedback for how do we improve our product and our engagement approach. And third, it gives us the experience as well as help us deliver offers that we can provide to our partners. Both enablement and also offers that they can deliver. Third key pillar, how will we deliver? It will be a combination between direct and partner-led delivery. A couple key goals there. Provide local coverage globally. Second piece, provide complete service offers. There will be services that our direct team will not offer that we will leverage partners to provide a complete solution. And the third is providing channel partners a revenue stream for those that have services capabilities. And how we will use partners, it will be leveraging partners that provide direct services to our customers, contract them if we need, augment our existing team to deliver services on GitLab paper. And then third would be potentially if we need IP development, so we don't have to staff people for these things. We have lumps in demand for developing things. We can leverage a partner to help us do that. This slide shows a conceptual overview, really what the entire customer success team is focusing on. And I'll talk through kind of what I relate to professional services. So first, that time to value. So you sell, we complete the transaction for that first sale. And then there's the aspect of, assuming on-premise, setting up their infrastructure, migrating data from their existing source control, say Bitbucket, into our platform, and training and enabling the team so they can effectively use that product. And ultimately, it gets to the accelerating to that time to first value. So then they're established, then they're going to start to drive adoption, leveraging all the capabilities of the existing stage or stages that they're planning on using, ultimately driving to a value realization, which our intent is it gives us opportunity to drive either user tier or stage expansion, and that leads to a rather rinse repeat process. Also, it relates to professional services. Right now, our services are really focused on that initial time to value, first value. Over time, as we evolve and become mature, our aspirational goal is that we'll provide more subscription-based services that align to the whole customer journey and allow us to support our customers in a monetized, higher touch way along that whole journey in a very frictionless consumption approach. Following is a screenshot from the State of DevOps Report 2019. Very clearly supports this. It's not just the tools, it's how effectively you use them. So you can have your tool chain established, but your operational, how you leverage them within your operations and it is really going to drive the results for your DevOps, whether it's deployment frequency, lead time for changes, or other areas. This is core to how we see the services and provide that incremental value against the entire solution. So let me talk through our current and planned portfolio. So first, more important, want to establish levels of service. We've been talking transformational service and ensure we're communicating with each other clearly. We define 3 levels of service. Product level services. How to use the product, like how to use the platform. The second, operational consulting services. That's how to use the product within your environment. And the third would be strategy consulting services. This is the digital strategy, culture transformation, team and executive coaching, all those real strategy consulting offers. This also is going to help define our priorities. So number one, we have to establish our product services as our key foundation, then operational, and then I'll talk through what we're going to play. So I think your question could be, great, where are we to provide services across these tiers? And taking some of the concepts from the product team, we're using the Harvard balls that show how we see our current services and where we plan to be, and I have some details of what we have in place now. And there's additional slides that I'll get to in a minute here. From a product view, we want to have lovable services. There's 2 key things we need to do against those level 1 services. Number one, we need to improve our operations. So how do we sell, deliver, account for services in a highly repeatable quality way? We've got work to do there. The second thing is we need to expand our scope of product service that cover the entire platform. From an operational consulting services, this is an area that we don't have now. We're gonna start to build on that. We have some opportunities for embedded engineers. We're gonna look to opportunistically leverage that for learning and also to develop those consulting services. Strategy, really important. It's absolutely key. Probably picking one. Culture is one of the key parts of having a successful DevOps, a culture and values aligned to a DevOps practice. Appreciate this, absolutely critical. But these are really, really long engagements, have a different set of resources that are going to be different than we want around how we're going to directly do that. So this is something I'm going to talk through later on, but we're going to play to this. Probably to some extent it'll be team coaching and a little bit probably through content and webinars. So this starts to break down. So like taking that slide and breaking down by each piece, what do we currently have? So this talks to what we have from an implementation, migration, and educational services, where we plan to be, and I've added an additional column here. Where do we plan to be with partners? So again, we'd look to deliver these direct. We want to build a partner ecosystem so we can have other partners that serve our customers globally. Again, the next stage on product services, this is really maps out the additional services that we need to build out to really cover the end-to-end platform. Again, I'm not going to go through these. Please read through those. And this may be one of those times we want to pause, read through it, and we can address questions and when we meet next week. Same thing, operational consulting services. Again, these are laying out some of the areas where we think we're going to develop capabilities. Again, how to use GitLab within their environment. And also want to note, you may start to see what they're dealt between plan and partners. In some of these areas, our expectation there's going to be specialist consulting, boutique consulting firms that's what they do, and those are people who want to leverage the strength of that ecosystem to deliver and provide a complete solution to our customers. Compliance and governance, same thing. We see this as a really important priority, especially for certain markets like retail, healthcare, financial services. This would also be an area from an investment perspective. We'd probably want a specialist that would help with the pre-sales in those markets. Also, that would provide consulting services post-sale. So still some work to be done there, but we see an opportunity in terms of the compliance and governance. Strategic consulting services. So probably what's important here is as much of what we do, what we're not going to do. Again, I think the key thing, it's absolutely, I'm not going to say that these areas are not important. It's just, this is one of those areas we're going to look to partners. If you think of, there's boutique partners, but if you also think the Accentures, the Deloittes that do a lot of this kind of work, we're going to look to them for these kind of services. I think probably the key thing, there'll be some team coaching that we have to do. There'll be probably little bits of culture, exec coaching, some things we'll probably address through, content or webinars or those kind of things just to provide education, but we're not going to provide direct services in these areas. This we're going to leave for our partners. Then who are the customers we're going to target? So our ideal customer would be a customer that has established Agile and is moving to DevOps, or a customer that has a DevOps practice and they're looking to optimize on that for faster time to market or better efficiency. The not a fit. You have a large enterprise customer, waterfall, they want to move to DevOps. That was definitely something where we'd want to lean to a larger consulting firm or boutique consulting firm to help drive that. There may be opportunities of smaller customers that we would do this for, but this is start to map out where we wouldn't play from a customer view. So let's talk about current state, priorities, and plan forward. Again, there are some additional backup slides that I'm skipping through that you'd see in the deck, this presentation mode. I have some of the finance, the numbers in there, and you can take a look through here. But this shows a broader view of our capabilities roadmap. So this is for the entire customer success organization, including coverage for TAMs and SAs, our professional services business, our customer success management, our TAM, the TAM motion that we drive in our building there, as well as systems and tools. From a professional services perspective, from an offering, right now we're doing project-based. And we're going to continue to talk through what we're going to do in terms of expanding the scope and how we're going to improve the delivery, and that shows that track. The life cycle of subscription services are something that is an aspirational goal. I think was probably about a year out. You argue an embedded engineer is a type of managed service, and we're going to really look at that as really having a different sort of added value in a much more high-touch way, but also is a great opportunity to provide us learning and insight to those operational practices and subscription offerings that we want to develop. And then on the service development shows some of the things in the priority that we drive in terms of developing our product and operational services. And the last, and very importantly, partners. So a big piece of this is tied to the hire of the VP of channels. But we've already started some discussions with the partner, and we're going to pick up a few partners along the way as kind of starting that process, but really we're going to look to really formalize that when the VP of channels comes on board. So immediate term priorities for the professional service organization. 3 things. Number 1, improve delivery, quality, and reliability. Super important. And really we're just working on the fundamentals. How to scope, how to sell, how to deliver, how to close, get survey, how to survey the customer on the quality of that engagement. Adherence to operational financial processes. Talk to these are near and dear to Paul's heart, as well as mine, is making sure that we're setting the right framework within the organization to grow in a mature way from a time tracking, percent complete, backlog management. There's a ton of work we're doing there. Make services selling easier. It is really hard right now. Everything's handcrafted, everything's custom. We're aggressively working to fix that and clean that up. So we've already introduced the sal calculator. We're continuing to improve that to make the quality of the output better. We're introducing the concept of just standard services off the shelf, and you can just take those off the shelf and sell them, versus the custom stuff, which would be like migrations, embedded engineer, things that require handcrafted. I'd argue 70 to 80% are just standard off the shelf, and we should be able to do those in a much more frictionless way. Provide full offerings, that's part of that, right? So how do we have pitch slides? We have SKUs, we have description of services, pricing, pre-established cost basis. And then the third piece is when we have that, and we're working towards it, October 3rd, where we have an enablement session scheduled with the global sales team. Most of these things are going to be in place in time for that. The third one is improve our existing offers. We're doing a little work here. Really, it's going to be accelerated by a recent hire in sales ops, person that has sales enablement or specifically training and development background that's going to help us for both our, move on to the next topic, for both our team and partner enablement. So that moves us into future plans for Q4 and beyond. So hire senior leadership and expand our capabilities. So really important, we're in process of recruiting and hiring for a senior director of professional services. Special thanks to Paul, who's helping out with that. It's a really critical hire for me. We've also recently hired someone on that's going to help with the enablement of the professional service team, but really importantly for partners. So partner onboarding, developing our professional training. Right now, the engineers are building the training. It's good, but we're really going to bring on a training professional to really make that, really improve the quality of that experience and the content, and then ultimately build certification. We now have some about $1.7 million in opportunities that are pending for Q3. That's going to be one of our new service offers that we release. Second thing, build predictability. So similar to other parts of the business, as we move towards an IPO or public market, we really need to build predictability. So right now we're just setting the foundation for services, and then how do we improve it for not just core foundation of delivery, but how do we start to do that to build reliability and predictability into our service delivery and the business in whole. The third piece, expand our service offerings. This is the key one: educational, developing, expanding our product level services, and then ultimately opportunistically through our embedded engineering program, drive operational service offerings. And then longer term, likely about a year out from now, provide subscription-based lifecycle services. So any presentation would be a mistake to not close the presentation with some ask. In reality, a lot of these are already in process. So, I look at this as a team sport, and a lot of these things that are mapped out here are already efforts that are in process. So in some ways, it's an ask/confirmation of support, though we may, in certain areas, may be reaching out to you if we need to pull things in and make sure that they're prioritized appropriately. I'm not going to run through each of those now in the video, but please read through those. If there's any areas that you have question about, please let me know. If there's any areas you think are missing, please let me know. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up the video. Thank you very much for watching it, and I look forward to connecting with you in our discussion next week and answering any questions you may have.